Hello, I'm Dr. Michael Naughton from Empowering the Innocent, and today I'm going to be in conversation with Christopher Logan. And Christopher, I met Christopher at International Falsely Accused Day outside the Royal Courts of Justice, where he gave a stirring and very inspiring speech about Lucy Letby. So I invited him along to say, let's learn more about Christopher Logan and about what he's doing in regards to the Lucy Letby case. So to start off with, hello, Christopher.
Hello, Michael. Hiya. Pleasure.
Nice to have you here. Thank you for agreeing to this. The first thing I say is just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well,
Who
before
is
I do,
Christopher Logan?
yeah. Well, before I do, Michael, I just want to say thank you very much for this opportunity to say a little bit about the Yellow Butterfly Group and see what a privilege it is for us to be associated with Empowering the Innocent now. So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you.
So yeah, my name's Christopher Logan. I'm 41 years old. As you can probably tell from the accent, I'm from Newcastle upon Tyne.
Yeah.
I've always been a person with lots of hobbies. I've played snooker since I was 11, played in bands since I was 17, and I love cooking. Just over 2 years ago, the course of my life changed completely when I heard about the case of Lucy Letby by pure chance. Prior to that, I thought miscarriages of justice was something that used to happen decades and decades ago, and that we had the best criminal justice system in the world. So, really, the journey since then has been what you call a bit of an eye opener, to say the least.
Yeah. I mean, many of us are brought up believing that we have the best justice system in the world until we find out otherwise, when we get caught up in the criminal justice system and we start to realize that, innocent people can be wrongly convicted, the Court of Appeal can fail innocent appellants, and the CCRC, where Lucy's case is at the moment, they can reject applicants who are innocent. So, that's a little bit about yourself. I'll have you a game of snooker one day. I'm looking forward to it. But
Anytime.
you just mentioned there Yellow Butterfly Group, and I noticed that you're wearing a yellow butterfly. And we spoke a little bit about Yellow Butterfly Group when I met you in London. What is Yellow Butterfly Group?
Well, I founded the group in October 2023 to campaign for Lucy's convictions to be fully re examined. And I named the group after the yellow butterfly sticker that Lucy wore on her NHS name badge, which I think it's a very apt symbol because of what the yellow butterfly symbolizes, which I believe, if you Google it, is hope, guidance, and positive changes on the horizon. So, yeah, very, very apt little symbol.
Yeah.
We are a private group of 20 people, all of whom are of good standing. We have a committee and we follow a constitution and set of rules. We are completely independent from Lucy's legal team, and everything we do is self financed. So we don't accept donations or anything like that.
Okay. And, what do you actually do?
Well, the aim was to try and create a safe space for those who want to campaign for Lucy in a respectful, sensible, law abiding manner and like within the legal frameworks available. We we as a group feel that the convictions are a serious miscarriage of justice and urgently need to be looked at again to prevent Lucy losing any more of her prime years incarcerated. Prime years that no amount of money or apologies can ever give back to her. For example, there was no hard evidence to prove any crimes were committed by anyone. There was no forensic evidence or digital evidence. There was no eyewitnesses or clear motive. So, really, straight off the bat, all of that's a major concern if you're going to send someone to prison on a whole life order, but you don't have any of the above.
Well, I mean, that is an eye opener.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I remember we had our first Empowering the Innocent meeting in the kind of spring of 2019. And somebody was there who was called Michelle Diskin Bates, and she's the sister of Barry George.
Yeah.
And at that meeting, Michelle said, "Oh, has anybody heard about the Lucy Letby case? What we're watching," she said, right, is a miscarriage of justice happening in real time. It's like in lifetime happening. And, it is unsettling. It is disturbing when you've been brought up to believe that, there has to be evidence to support an alleged crime. And then you're saying that there's all these problems that we all know about now with the conviction of Lucy Letby for the murder of these babies and attempted murders, and yet she remains in prison.
Yeah.
So, it is shocking, and you don't think that can happen. But, I've been working on this for more than 20 years, and, it can happen to any one of us. That's really why I care about it, because it hasn't happened to me or my family personally, but it could do because it's happening to other people in their
Yeah.
families.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it could quite as easily happen to you or me, or anybody who's watching this, even if they don't believe it could. What I was going to say is, so you've said a little bit about why you set it up. What are the aims of your group? What do you hope to achieve?
Well, the primary aim is to try and subtly, and I must emphasise the word subtly influence the CCRC to refer Lucy's case back to the Court of Appeal as soon as possible, and hopefully from there she'll either get a fair retrial or, better still, a full acquittal.
Yeah,
We also try and increase public awareness of the case and help break that taboo, so people can express how they feel about the convictions without being, vilified by the lynch mobs and like the pitchfork wavers. Um, we also seek to encourage individuals and organisations of high reach to add their voices in support of a full re-examination of the case.
yeah,
Um, and last but not least, we're trying to advocate for justice reform by attending events and working alongside all the groups, yours included,
yeah,
who share the same concerns and values as what we do.
yeah. And so, what do you actually do to try to meet those aims? So you've got these aims, and what do you practically do as a group? Because
I think,
I do know that you've written a couple of songs.
yeah, oh yeah. Well, I think the thing we're probably best known for at the moment is our online petition, which is addressed to the CCRC and has over 7,000 signatures now. On top of that, we organise and attend protests that are aligned with what we stand for as a group
Yeah,
and in line with our constitution. I give public speeches, and as you see, I record and release music in support of Lucy.
yeah.
We do targeted letter writing to MPs, ministers of religion, and bodies and individuals of high reach to ask them to add their voice to the cause,
Have,
to add extra weight to the.
have you been successful in that? I mean, have you got any, like, like celebrity type people or high profile people who are
Um,
lending support?
Not celebrities as such, to be honest. We have had a lot of non-committal replies back. People saying,
Yeah,
you've got to leave it to the courts and let justice take its rightful course. Which, to be honest, it is very disheartening at times
yeah,
because we, as a group, we've put out well in excess of 100 letters between all of us,
yeah,
and only really had replies to probably about a quarter of them. Some of which have been very short and dismissive. Although having said that, we have had a couple of very good replies what have led to positive outcomes, which do make all the effort worth it in the end. We did write to Jeremy Hunt. Now I'm not saying that he definitely spoke out as a result of us writing to him, because we didn't get written confirmation to confirm that. So who knows? He might have done it anyway. But to be honest, I don't really care as long as he did do it. Also, we wrote to the Anglican Church
yeah.
much earlier in the year, and soon after they published an article in their newsletter. Now, again, they didn't write back to confirm it was because of our prompt, but I do think it's very possible that within weeks of our letter they did publish the article. So but really just getting back to it, if it means putting out 100 letters and only getting a handful of replies back where positive actions are taken, then it is worth it.
Well, I think that kind of speaks to what you were referring to as like subtle. So what you do is quite subtle. So you just kind of putting out your materials and educating people and kind of asking people will they look into these materials, and then you don't know sometimes what the effect of that is, but there are effects, even
Yeah.
though you can't quite quantify them.
Mm.
um, and it sounds really good. It sounds really good. I
Yeah.
mean, if anybody watching this wanted to find out more about the Yellow Butterfly Group, which is in support of Lucy Letby, I mean, where would they find that information?
Uh, well, I suppose the first place to start would probably be our YouTube channel, which you can find by typing into YouTube the Yellow Butterfly Group.
Okay.
And on there, you'll find a couple of songs and speeches already. To be fair, there's not loads on there at the moment, but there will be a lot more varied content to come over the next few months. So keep an eye out for that. Also, if you sign the petition, change.org will give you the option to subscribe to updates, and that's where I post our monthly newsletter. And that, I suppose, just includes news about what we've been doing as a group, but also the wider news about things
Yeah.
relevant to the
Yes.
case.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I mean, most of what we do is behind the scenes. Like I said before, we are like a private group, but I'd probably just say as well that if you see me at these events, come and say hello, because I love meeting people and just discussing the case with
Yeah.
anyone who will listen, as I'm
Yeah.
sure you probably already know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, what I'll do underneath this video, I'll put the link to the YouTube channel. I'll put the link to the petition. And I suppose, I would ask next, what do you want people to do to support the Yellow Butterfly Group? And I suppose the answer is sign the petition.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Well, first and foremost, again, please sign and share the petition by typing into Google, refer Lucy Letby's case back to the Court of Appeal.
Yeah. And then it could, but I'll put the link in this video.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that would be brilliant, Michael, if you could. Yeah, thank you. Um, One, just if people feel comfortable of sharing it with family and friends or on their social media platforms, that would be an even bigger help. Just to try and get out there as much as possible.
Yeah. And then
Uh,
they can subscribe to the newsletter. And then
yeah,
is this like, do you have a mail shot and then you send it out? And is it like everything that's happened in the last month on the case?
yeah, yeah. So really, it's a mixture of what's been in the news and yeah, like it isn't always necessarily about Lucy. It might be about, for example, last month I think I covered how Nadine Dorries has returned to politics. Obviously, she's been like a very vocal supporter of Lucy. So I think I mentioned how if there was to be a by-election that came up, and if she was to get elected, that would be another MP in Parliament in support of Lucy. I think I've also covered the hospital league tables about how the Countess Hospital is still languishing near the bottom of that.
Chester, yeah.
So like I say, it's just news that isn't necessarily directly about Lucy, but it is sort of relevant to the case. And then obviously I just put things in about what we've been doing as a group, but usually after they've happened, because I tend not to put things in before they're about to happen. I tend to put them in afterwards.
Yeah.
Um, but with regard to the petition, what I would say is that it's not my petition or the Yellow Butterflies petition. Really, anybody who signs the petition has equal share in it.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, every signature counts as one, and I feel that it's only right that I keep everybody updated on its progress, and that I'm fully transparent, so that everybody feels as though they're part of the journey as well.
Yeah, I mean, you just happen to start it as a group, but you want everyone to feel included and invested in it and learn as much as they can, really, about why Lucy Letby maybe is a wrongful conviction.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, if I could just backtrack a little bit, Michael, and just say that about what people can do in support of the group, I would just like to say, could they please subscribe to the YouTube channel?
Right.
Um, and also, if they can, write to their MP about the case and ask them to publicly state they support a full re-examination of the evidence.
Yeah.
My advice would be to try and keep your letters realistic and ask for something that can be granted rather than something that would just likely end up in the bin. In other words, give it every possible chance of leading to a good outcome and don't be too greedy and end up with nothing.
Do you think that you may be able to like write some kind of a template to help people and post it into your newsletter or something like that? Because I think that the idea, I mean, I haven't got much faith in politics. I'm not political. I don't like any of them, right?
Yeah.
But to me, they are our elected officials. I have actually met with my MP on many occasions because, we may as well try and use them if we can. And if you don't try, you're never going to get anywhere. But if you're a constituent of an MP and you feel strongly about something, they have to meet you in their clinic and then they will listen to you. And, I was speaking to a chap today about another case, and he's in the Swansea area. And they had a petition with many thousands of signatures on who were concerned about a particular case down there. And one of the ideas we were talking about is people like en masse going to see their MPs, and in essentially just like, if hundreds or thousands of people are all going to an MP, again, not claiming that this particular person's innocent, but just saying there's so many problems with it that we need it to be relooked at. They would have to do something, because if hundreds or thousands of their constituents were asking them to do that, they would have to do that.
Yeah.
So I think it's a fantastic idea, even though I've got no faith in them. But I think we can make them do something good.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it's actually a really good idea about putting the template letter in the next newsletter, actually, because both the wider news and what we've been doing as a group, it has actually been a little bit thin on the ground this month. So I think I will actually do that in the November edition now. So thanks for that tip.
Yeah.
There are 3 MPs who have come out hard in support of Lucy for a retrial. That is David Davis, Nigel Farage, and Jeremy Hunt.
Yeah.
But I do actually know of another 4 who won't come out and say it yet, but they definitely do support it.
Yeah, you can understand their reluctance in one way, because as much as we, the people who I kind of associate with, and the groups that I'm aware of, there's much concern about the conviction of Lucy Letby. But for every person who's concerned about Lucy Letby's conviction, there seems to be 5 other people who are thinking that she should just rot in hell. So the MPs might be really frightened to put their head above the parapet when it's not a clear-cut thing. Like if if the consensus was that Lucy Letby should have a case re-examined, maybe they may be more a bit braver. They may be more ready to put their head above the parapet. But unless they think they're on a surefire thing, a lot of them will keep their heads down, won't they?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why I try and emphasize to people to keep their letters realistic. Nothing too crazy, because at the end of the day, that they're not going to go into Parliament wearing like a Free Lucy Letby T-shirt, although that would be obviously amazing if they would. But
yeah,
it's just a case of asking them to add their voice to the cause, which is very achievable if you go about it the right way. And I suppose if 100 people watching this write to their MP, and on the back of it, one MP comes forward, and does add their voice to the cause, then that is a win.
It is a win, and I think that by not being Lucy Letby is innocent, but by saying if you have concern, if you share our concerns about the conviction of Lucy Letby, please support us to ask for a re-examination. I think it's much more powerful, and it brings more people in.
Exactly.
So I think what you're doing is the right strategy. Not that it matters what I think.
No, I really appreciate it, Michael. Honestly, that's brilliant.
But yeah, I think it's brilliant. So Finally, is there anything else that you'd like to add at the end?
Yes, I would like to give a few shout outs, if I may.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, thanks to you, Michael, and also to Sean for this opportunity to tell your viewers a little bit about the Yellow Butterfly Group and the work that we do. Maybe I can come back next year to discuss Lucy's case in a bit more detail, and maybe we can sort of touch on justice reform a bit.
We'd like that. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd also like to thank Nikki and Emma, Lynn and Sheila, and also Brian and Elaine for being so kind and obliging to us
Yeah.
in the last year or so. You know, they've all been brilliant. Jane and Joe, who helped me run the Yellow Butterfly Group, and all the rest of the YBs, who I'm really proud to call all of them friends now.
Yeah.
Flora, who's been like a teacher to me in the last 2 years
Yeah.
and been really, really essential to the success of the group behind the scenes. Would never be this far forward if it wasn't for Flora's
Yeah.
help, and that is a fact.
Yeah.
My final message to anyone who is still watching is that helping someone in need is one of the most rewarding things that you can do if you're doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And there's no better feeling in the world when things start to happen because of it.
Yeah. That's a lovely sentiment. I remember somebody saying once that, somebody says, why do you keep doing good things? And he says, I don't know. It just makes me feel good when I do good things. And if you are able to help somebody else, that you have that capacity, I totally agree with you. You're doing something meaningful with your time, with your life, and there is no better feeling than helping other people. So thank you from us to you for the wonderful work that you're doing. And if anything else we can do to support you, just let us know.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.